Will Bitcoin continue its climb to 6,000 US dollars before it faces heavy resistance? Find out in this episode as well. With the Litecoin having only 4 months away, will Litecoin continue its epic, insane journey, or will it retrace back to this 50-day moving average? We'll take a look at both of those things and more, and much more in this episode. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tyler, and we're going to take a look at some crypto charts. In this video today, if we want to first look on the daily chart, we can see Bitcoin has continued to put in higher lows. If we want to take a zoom in right here, you can see that this pattern is clearly continuing. Here, there does seem to be increasing highs as well, higher highs. But will that continue? If we want to take a look on the 4-hour chart, we can get a better picture of what exactly is going on, and we can draw a nice pattern here. There does, again, seem to be somewhat of resistance right around this level of about 52.80, which was previously support for a little bit back in November of 2018. So will that continue to play a big role in this? As well, are we overextended to the point where we won't see another move up, another leg up in the near term? Do we have to retrace before we can continue to move up? Well, to answer that question, we can look at the RSI. First, you can see we're clearly above 87. It's still continuing upwards, so, is it possible that we continue to see upwards momentum over the next few days? It's very possible, but as you can see, we're very overextended here. So at some point, is it possible that we see somewhat of a pullback? It's possible. If we look and we draw somewhat of a pattern on this definitely indicates potentially an upward momentum, and this is all the way back to November of 2018. So with that being said, if we did, is it possible that we hit on some of this support here only to bounce back, similar to how we did here and similar how to we did here? I think that's quite likely a possibility. If you notice this checkered line right here, I want to draw your attention to this. Let's zoom out a little bit and take these indicators off so you can really get a good idea of what this is. You can see this long checkered line was long-term support, and at least on these charts, this is Bitstamp's chart, dating all the way back to the end of 2011, of the end of 2011. One thing you'll notice right away is that over half of the time before the middle of 2017 of this entire chart, Bitcoin was pretty much hovering on this line. You can see this massive chunk of time right here, which accounts for probably about a third of this entire chart here at least, and then you can see it a lot here as well. The only time it wasn't was here and here. But now one thing you definitely notice is that we are no longer above that. So does that play a role in terms of cryptocurrency? Is it necessary for long term for us to get above this for the market to remain healthy? Potentially. It's just a pattern that I noticed that could have some value, and it could have some ramifications. Now, I'm not saying that we're gonna go from here and we're gonna bounce, and by a month from now, May 13th, we're going to be at a $12,000 Bitcoin. If that was the case, it would defy a lot of TA, and it would be super incredibly bullish, I think. But again, I don't think that's super likely, but it is interesting to note that this pattern that's at least 8 years old, for the past 6 months, Bitcoin has not been above that line. Now, if we want to take a look at Litecoin for a little bit, you notice that Litecoin, when it comes to this 50-day moving average right here, Litecoin has clearly been above that ever since it was cradled a little bit back in January of 2019, this year. Again, this was playing resistance the entire year of 2018, basically. But now we see that it is above that, and not only above it, it's drastically above it. Currently, it's about 40% above that line. So can we expect a retracement in the near future to kind of even that out, to bring some equilibrium to the market? I do think it is possible. One thing you can notice on the RSI here, you do see a downswing. And with that being said, if you look at Litecoin on the chart, you can see it is down almost 5% today, whereas not necessarily the rest of the coins are down that much. With Litecoin's block reward halving coming in just 4 months, 119 days, will that play a role in Litecoin gaining some momentum back and continuing this run? Do you think it's played a role so far in Litecoin's health? And again, this line right here, I just put on the chart where that will be, so you can see in terms of 2018 and then so far basically this year, and only about 4 months away. So, coming up really close to that. Now, if we want to take a look closer at Bitcoin here, one thing to note, a lot of people are pretty skeptical about this being the real breakout, that this is going to be the big one that's going to send Bitcoin to the moon, to 6,000 and above. 6,000 again is just that historically difficult to break support that took the entire year of 2018 to break. It was only towards the end of, or the middle of November 2018 that it finally did break out. Now, that is right here, right around here. Bitcoin is only, we take a measuring tool out here, Bitcoin is only about 14% more gains away from reaching that target there. So if that were to be hit in the next few days, and we can, for a closer reference, we can even look at this on the 4 hour, so you can see this a little bit closer. Right around 6,062, right around here is where it would be. Now, it essentially, it could all happen in one move, similar to this candle right here that we saw. We had about let's say a 20% roughly candle, and if we draw that from where we are right now, another 20% would be 63, so it would even be above that. So if we had another candle like that, or if we continue on this little upward channel that we've been in, either one of those represent possibilities of reaching that a little bit. This is also on the 4 hour. Potentially you could see that this kind of looks somewhat like an ascending wedge a little bit, not an ascending triangle, which would be more like this, more flatlined, but you see more of an ascending wedge here potentially. Currently, Bitcoin is a little overextended from the 50-day moving. Currently, Bitcoin is a little extended from this moving average here. If we want to switch to Litecoin on the 4 hour real quick and get a kind of a picture of what's going on here, you can see where this channel broke out here, basically. Now you can tell these lines aren't exact, right? I don't think they ever are, but one thing you can definitely see is that, well, when it breaks above a little bit, definitely goes under, or at least tests it for a little bit before going back under. And same thing here, tested above it for a little bit before it broke down, found some support, and then touching the bottom there a little bit. Again, on the 4 hour, these are more precise, which I had drawn them on the daily, so I could draw them a little more precise if I was just drawing them on the 4 hour, which I will do in the future. But you can see, which I will do more in the future, but you can see here, we didn't get to quite the end on the 4 hour of this, and usually we'll get the break above it if we're going to from one of these patterns before you reach 100% like touch here. I think it's between like 70 and 80%, which is basically what this is at of this entire pattern here. They would touch probably around here on the chart, and this is where it started on this rising wedge, and it broke out clearly. You can just see that completely vertical parabolic moving average right here. Now, Litecoin has not yet come down to touch that for support. So, whether or not we'll see this in the near future, I think it has yet to be seen. Obviously, time will tell. The RSI in kind of a good place on the 4 hour in terms of movement capabilities, and we do notice that the stochastic is kind of curving up a little bit. So on the 4 hour, I definitely think we have some more room for Litecoin to go up in the near term. Today definitely has been a cooling off, consolidating period, and that's not to say we're guaranteed another massive move with Litecoin soon. But I definitely think that we are seeing something pretty nice here, and we do have on the 4 hour some room to move up. If we want to switch to the 1 hour now, you can see we actually have gone below that moving average, and that's why Litecoin is kind of seeing a little bit of resistance today, I would say, right? It's been about 12 hours or so since Litecoin dipped under that, which previously on the 1 hour chart we were finding some much needed support over the last few days since the huge break on April 2nd. You can see it tested around April 4th. You can see it tested again on April 6th, even on April 7th, the morning, and then April 7th towards the end of the day there. And then right here, it actually broke and came back up and found support, and it really tested the entire day of the 7th and 8th before breaking out today, the 8th. So on the 1 hour, I think when you're looking at these, you have to take all of the time frames into perspective. 1 hour definitely is one thing to look at, but if you want to take a zoom out and kind of get a picture of what will happen within the next few days, I think it's smart to look at the 4 hour and the daily. On the 4 hour, it's still looking good. On the 1 hour, do we have some time still to continue to be below this line potentially, but you see it kind of trying to curve back up there, has not yet. It's kind of found complete equilibrium right here. If we take a look now on the daily again, you can see, one thing to keep note of is we're still super extended from the moving average, about 40% still, which is pretty crazy. So again, if you look on the RSI here, you see it kind of curving down. So I don't think we're going to curve straight down, but I do think we're going to continue to curve down for at least a little bit longer. I think that'll be necessary. And again, on the stochastic, you see the same thing here. See that curve right here, and that's on the daily. If we want to look at the stochastic on the 4 hour, we're kind of seeing a different story, some momentum coming up. And again, we already looked at the stochastic, the regular RSI on the 4 hour. If we want to look at the, let's see, stochastic on the 1 hour, you can see obviously getting very high up here in that peak, right around 91. So, waiting and see with Litecoin. Right now, Bitcoin is more exciting, and alts have been popping off a lot lately. Obviously, Litecoin kind of led that. A lot of people have been talking in the space about how Litecoin kind of leads and can be an indicator for Bitcoin's movement in the future. Litecoin recently obtained the name Lady Litecoin. So, will Lady Litecoin continue to kind of show sneak peeks of the future for what Bitcoin will bring? It's potentially going to be the case because it has historically. Litecoin has historically kind of led Bitcoin, or at least indicated where Bitcoin was going before Bitcoin did that. And so I think that's one of the benefits of Litecoin, and something interesting that Litecoin has going for it. I know many of you guys watching are obviously Litecoin fans. I initially grew most of my audience on Litecoin, which is the main reason why you guys are very much interested in Litecoin. Leave a comment down below if there's another coin besides Bitcoin and Litecoin that you really like. I know Nano, Stellar, Digibyte, we got some Quantum, a lot of fans out there. Again, though, this Litecoin block reward halving countdown is extremely crucial. We do see that around this time we get nice movements in the respective coin during or coming up to the block reward, or even shortly after. Bitcoin is 411 days away, so over a year, about 13 months away. Litecoin's only about 4 months. So that is about a 9-month difference there. So Litecoin definitely, we might see some more excitement in the near future before we see anything with Bitcoin. Absolutely, I think that could be the case there. It is worth pointing out that as of April 2nd, when we had that nice move, a lot of people have felt rejuvenated, as if it's their first taste of something similar to what 2017 brought. 2018 brought nothing but doom and gloom. And if we want to zoom out, in terms of price, in terms of adoption, 2018 was awesome and everything we could have expected of 2018. But in terms of the price movement, it was one disappointment after another. Basically touching 6,000, getting rejected. Basically going to 6,000, getting rejected. Touching 10,000, getting rejected, sorry. Touching 8,000, getting rejected. Touching 7.6, getting rejected. Pretty much getting rejected for a few straight months before breaking down into the current ascending triangle that we are now not even a part of, And I think that's another reason why now is an interesting time, because we're still kind of wait to see if an entirely new pattern is going to form out of this ascending triangle. Out of this descending triangle, an entirely new pattern did form, and it was this ascending triangle. This is a triangle because, it's descending, and this is the floor here, that's a triangle, and this is ascending, and this is the roof here, that is a triangle, as opposed to something like this, maybe like a wedge. Very exciting stuff going on in the space. Let me know what you guys think. If you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like and subscribe as well. Yeah, comment your favorite crypto down below. Comment a crypto you might want us to take a look at here on the channel. The team is always excited to look at more crypto content. As well, talks are being rumored about a crypto podcast in the works, so that's incredibly exciting. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I will see you in the next episode, and thanks for watching.